Welcome back to another episode of Slow with Kevin and Esther. And the last episode, if you have followed us, we talk about investing in your intention and not over focusing on strategy, because strategies changes all the time according to changing situation. So if you did not catch it, because of course I think it's pretty cool. And I'm very happy because I get to do this with my wife. And today we want to talk about something else. Let's talk about money. Is it hard? Controversial?
Controversial, but necessary.
Necessary? Yep. What's your take on spending? Buy first, worry later? Save first, only buy? Save already, don't buy?
No, save for rainy days.
No, I said spending.
Oh, my spending?
You answer people's question.
Spend within my means.
That means save first, then buy.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your idea on savings? How much is enough?
The number keeps increasing as
Okay.
the cost of living increases. When I was younger, I could live with probably like 100K, right? But now that I'm in my 40s.
A month?
No, just life savings, right? How much is enough? 100K for entire life. I was in my
Dude,
20s.
that's not doable. Okay, anyway.
All right, because we don't think about it. But now that I have a family, I have a home, I have you.
Am I a cost? Am I a liability?
If I were to pluck a figure in my head, maybe comfortable.
Think carefully. It's a trap question.
I know. So I'm going to increase the number.
Wow. No.
Maybe, okay, you're talking about savings, right? For the rest of your life, how much is enough and you feel safe and don't have to worry about it anymore?
I don't know. Different people take it differently.
5 million?
Enough? So that means after you retire, you're not doing anything anymore. You don't coach people anymore. 5 million in the bank.
I coach when I like. If I have 5 million in the bank and I don't have to worry anymore, I just coach if I like. I'll work if I like.
What's your take on giving? Giving to God, giving to church, just giving.
Being generous.
Generous is what?
Generous,
How much of your, say, monthly income? What would constitute generous giving to God or others? What's the percentage like? Generous is what?
10%.
10%? Okay. Cool. I don't know. What else about money that we should consider? And I think if you're listening to our podcast, it's good to just ask questions on each other. And I don't think all the time we have the answers. And we shouldn't, because it changes all the time. Like, I suddenly asked you and then you said 5 million. We kind of like plucked the figure from thin air and thought it might be enough. But I think, of course, it's good to have a figure to work from or to work on, to work towards the future. So, I personally think, just a very fun one, like save first then spend, or spend first worry later, or save already don't spend. I think we all go through those seasons, right? There were times where we don't save also spend, and then we save enough so that we could spend. I'm in a season where I save and I really want to spend. I don't know why, but yeah. But money is powerful because it can either make you a slave of it, or become a tool that empower you to be kings? I think, yeah. Are there a lot of conflicts about money in marriages?
Yeah, because the different values in spending or saving,
Investing?
or in investing.
Can I just chip in? I once heard a very, very good advice from a couple friend of ours. Of course, there's savings and spending and all that. But when it comes to investing, it must be something that is agreed by both spouses. So that the wife doesn't say, okay, now you're the husband, you invest. And then when they lose the money, then the wife keep blaming the husband. And then it kind of like break the marriage apart. If we are to invest in anything, both of us have to agree that we will take the risk together and we will enjoy the spoil together. Otherwise, marriages can become quite resentful if this thing about money is not dealt with. But then after that, you think about it, money is the least of the thing that should interfere in the marriage. Yet, it can become such a big issue.
But to some, money is the financial security.
Yep.
The financial security equates emotional security
Okay.
to some.
I understand.
So when that doesn't happen, they get insecure and it affects all other areas of their communication, the way they show up, the way they question the partner. So it's good to, like you said earlier, ask questions like this. Like, not just early on in the relationship or dating days or before dating, it's throughout the marriage constantly have these course correcting conversations on finances.
Yeah.
I think when we first dated each other, we don't even know how to talk about finances, right? Yet alone plan, and then we got married and we want to buy a house.
Yeah.
So then the responsibility increased, and there's a lot more at stake. So then the conversations took a different turn, right? How much we want to save? Okay, how much can we afford to get into that investment? And then we became parents, and that's where suddenly all our personal wants become the lowest thing in our list, and then our baby's needs, our family's needs all come first. And again, a cost correcting conversation on finances. We started having conversations about saving for our kids' education, right? How much is enough? Or like, then we started thinking about insurance. What if something happened to us? Like, who is going to take care of our kids? So all these conversations touch on money. And if the partners are not on the same page, especially when it comes to finances, it's very hard.
But I think just by us talking about this now, we both grew into it. It wasn't like I have a fixed set of values and you have a fixed set of values, and that's what we are pursuing it. Because we're not like consultant kind of a background or accountancy or banking background. But we kind of like grow into it step by step. And I feel couples that are growing together in this area should really cut each other some slack and give each other some grace and space to you know what, I'm sorry, I didn't think about that. Okay, let's work on it. But I feel if one of the spouses who didn't think about it and the other one thought about it and kind of like, why you never think about the family? But it's not true. It's kind of like we did it. Like we used to like, oh, we're in the shop, we're happy. But now it's like, oh, we're saving up for their education, we're saving up for this, we're saving up for that. You know, we grew, and I'm happy that we grew into it. It's not like we look back and now, nope, we talk about it, but we didn't do anything about it. We talk about it, we took the next step, listen for, to the advices of different people and see how they live. And so I think that couples have to understand that we don't get to where we are overnight. It was over a period of time of, course-correcting conversations to get to where we are.
And there were many moments that we had to rethink our finances, right? Our values on what we're saving up for. Why is it so important? And we didn't always see eye to eye.
Nope.
those moments where we didn't see eye to eye, it was tough. But we knew, given time, we would be able to influence each other. For example, saving up for education. It wasn't something that you grew up with or you would think about. And that was probably one of the most important things for me, right, when I became a mom. And I remember we had many, many conversations about it.
Yeah.
And it is being open and honest and transparent with actually what are you fearing, right? In those days, I just fear if my child wants to, pursue this or pursue that, and I don't have the means for that, I feel I've not done my part as a parent. So I think that was the expectation I put on myself. Hence, when it comes to finances, this became like a major value that I hold on to.
Yeah.
And it took me years to not convince you, but influence you into that thinking that, okay, let's do this together.
Yeah. But for me, at the same time, when I am okay to do that, I also, saving is a strategy. But my intention is I am not a slave to that strategy. I still want moments of magic where we can just freely give to somebody and and just don't worry about it, or give to God or give to church. Not trying to twist God's arm and say, God, you better give me back something. No. Then our lives become fixated with that only thing. And I of course I come to realize that we need to do the best that we can to provide for our children and everything. But at the same time, I do see your point, the value of what you would want to do with the savings. But I, for one, don't want to limit that moments that are beautiful, that are magical, that we both feel like, we support a child that lack education. And I think wealth, if it is not shared, it's all just about us, it's meaningless for me, for us. So then of course I also see where you're coming from. Then I thought, okay, if we're going to do that, I want to keep the magic, and I must want to make sure I maintain my responsibility as a father, as a husband. Then we will save as much as we can, so that we will always be a blessing, not just to our own family, but to people around us. Because if you and I were to save so much, so hard, and there's no leeway, there's no room in that savings, that when we go out for dinner, we are like, purposely don't want to pay the bill and don't want to share or avoid it or pretend or act, we might get to where we want to get to, but the journey is going to be quite yucky lah. So to me, I like it because the tension is how to maintain that I'm still taking care of my family, but I don't want to be that yucky person that asks people back for the data rate that I paid last week. You haven't give me back the money. You haven't TNG me. So yeah. So that's my take. That's very clear. That was conflicting in our marriage, and that was your take. And I love it because then I got to factor in this kids' education part, and I wish and I hope I can say I have also increased that magic fun part to you.
And this is now 18 years in the making, right, of our marriage. We're just very wary because it's evening time right now, and we have a lot of people walking around us as we're trying to record this podcast. So if you're hearing some sound of the door or...
No tension, don't worry.
No tension, it's fine.
They're listening in the car.
We're in our home.
They're listening in the car or...
Now I forgot what I was going to say. I said, this is 18 years in the making, right?
Yeah.
Of course, we have kind of aligned and kind of understood where each other is coming from, and we can talk in this manner. But I still remember the early days of our marriage. This was like a tension.
Yeah.
Right? a cause of argument.
Yeah.
And it was very hard in those seasons. Suddenly I remember it now, where you come from a mindset of generosity, right? Giving to help the poor, help others in need, this, that, charity, right? A lot of times from the other side, watching that, how I felt in those moments were like everybody else was more important than me, right? Because for me, I come from the place where I protect my family first. I protect what I have. If I have extra, I will give, right? So just hearing this, you guys can tell how opposite ends we were.
Definitely.
So then how do we get to this place? Is through experiencing a lot of setbacks, right? Or conversations, disappointments, talking it out, being able to express how you really feel and help each other understand, and being open to actually, okay, why not I learn to see it from your perspective, right? But for me, I would have this fear. So I just want to let you know that, hey, these are my concerns, right? But I'm willing. And if couples can get into conversations that allows transparency and openness, I think it's easier to shift to a different perspective towards the same direction. We might never meet exactly the same. We still have our differences, but at least we're heading the same direction.
Yeah. I suddenly thought about it. Like sometimes we try to find the answer for the solution.
What's right? Is it your way or my way, or like?
And I think for me, it's really not just about finding the answers, but letting the answers come to you. So I have to see it that I'm still passionate about helping people, but at the same time, when I saw that if I cannot pay for my kids' education, it's going to be quite tough. So it kind of like I saw it rather than I was seeking it. Then I thought I got to do a bit extra to make sure that I can fulfill that too. Anyway, guys, I hope it helps. There's some frying going on in the kitchen, and I thought maybe it's time to call it a day on this episode. So we would have given you a lot of thoughts and how we kind of like manage that. So
if you have been, really, if you've been benefited from really listening to this husband and wife talk, share it with your friends, right? Or get them to follow us on our Instagram or Facebook and chat with us.
Subscribe.
Throw out questions, right? So that your question could become our next podcast topic.
Subscribe to our YouTube too. All right, like, subscribe, and see you the next episode.